Yeah.
Hello, good people of the YouTube verse. Here I am, back with another review. Maybe not the one that you would expect, but really, I just have to mention right off the bat, I am going to review Everything Everywhere All at Once. I just want to see it one more time. And I haven't really been putting out many videos in the last week because unfortunately I came down with COVID. And luckily I'm much better now. But I really wasn't up to filming and you know, I just didn't want to bring myself to you in that state. And I certainly just wasn't up for it for a few days. So here we are. I'm trying to get back on track, so sorry about the delays and stuff, but everything looks like it's looking up now, so that's great. And today I'm actually going to talk about the movie that I believe I came down with COVID symptoms in the theater. So yeah, we're going to talk about Robert Eggers' The Northman, which is a Viking revenge tale starring Alexander Skarsgård, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe. There's so many names in here. Even Bjork shows up, and she hasn't acted in years, so that was really interesting. But obviously, you know Robert Eggers from The Witch and The Lighthouse, which I think were two of the best independent horror films of the past few years. And really, you watch those, and you can tell that this is an auteur filmmaker. You know his style when you see it, and this is no different here. Even though, obviously, this was his first bigger budget studio film, which he vowed he'd never make again, it still feels very, very much like an artistic vision from this guy. And even though it feels like such a departure in his filmography thus far, because it really isn't a horror film. Yes, it has very horrific images, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's more like a brutal, bloody action-adventure film, which features some really terrible people and and not the most pleasant of lights. And being one of my most anticipated films of the year, it delivered, and it didn't. And I'll elaborate where this is a really damn good movie. It just didn't quite reach the heights that I wanted it to, but even so. But yeah, this isn't some glorified tale of revenge and redemption or anything like that. This is really saying, like, these are how the Vikings were, and this is a pretty terrible society to live in, and everybody in it is a piece of garbage. And I love that, because it really just didn't glorify it at all. These people are grimy and dirty and just really greasy, which is the reason I didn't shave off my beard for this review, because I felt it went well with the very unkept appearances of the characters in this movie, especially Alexander Skarsgård, who obviously the story starts out with him as a kid watching his father get beheaded by his uncle. That sounds familiar, taking up the throne. But yeah, basically he becomes I guess he gets adopted in this tribe of Vikings, and then once he realizes that there's a ship going back there with slaves, he makes himself a slave, just to put him in that position where he can kill his uncle and assert his revenge. You know, I'll avenge you, father, I'll save you, mother, I'll kill you, Fiona, as he states in the movie. But really, Alexander Skarsgård's really, really good in this movie, and jacked to all hell. I mean, this dude has some muscles on him. But really, not only does he just bring a lot of needed emotion to this role, but just in the action scenes, he absolutely kills it. And just the filmmaking in here is really tour de force. I mean, there are shots that you could hang up in the Louvre. I mean, really, that incredible. And obviously, the cinematographer was nominated for The Lighthouse, and that was the only nomination that film got, which was absolutely ludicrous. And maybe he'll repeat that same success this time around, because this is the best looking film I've seen all year. Just unbelievable what they're able to do. And there's one scene where these Vikings are raiding a village, and it's like all done in one take. You see all this brutality unfold, and it is just magnificently horrifying, is probably the best way I can put it. But just really, the filmmaking is why you watch this film in the first place, as I was talking about. Yeah, the cast is really great. but I think anybody who has seen a Robert Eggers films is going there to see Robert Eggers do his work on screen. And yet again, just talking about the cast, Anya Taylor-Joy, once again, always great. Robert Eggers really knows how to use her properly in a movie. Ethan Hawke is really great in the few minutes he's in the movie. And obviously Willem Dafoe is creepy as always. Always seems to be a trademark for that guy, but obviously he's incredible. And in the few scenes he's in, he absolutely kills it here. But really, I think some of the big standouts, Klaus Bang, who plays Fiona, the uncle, is really, really powerful villain in this film, if you want to call him that. Really just very, very intimidating, very thoughtful. It's everything you want from a great villain, though I think they could have fleshed him out a bit more, which I will get into. But Nicole Kidman really, I think, has the most pivotal role in this movie in one scene where she just absolutely floored me. Which, you know, expect from Nicole Kidman. She's obviously one of the greats, and really has a lot to do in this movie. And I think this film really takes you to places when it comes to revenge tales that I was surprised it did. Really just so uncompromising in the best way possible. Some of the craziest brutality I've ever seen on screen, which I guess goes hand in hand with the Nordic Vikings. But really, I think it has a lot of themes going on here, breaking down what vengeance means. Are we really searching after some sort of false sense of pride? What does this mean? Is this just toxic masculinity, just a manifested sevenfold, which, I mean, it certainly is, but really breaks down the whole Viking ideology, which really you gotta do in these type of movies. And that's what I'm saying. There's no glamour to this at all. It's just down and dirty, and I loved it for that. There's really also some very, very trippy psychedelic elements to this film, especially one sequence at the beginning, which was just so mind-bendingly bizarre, but so compelling. I absolutely adored it. But really, the one thing in this movie that's going to make or break it for you is the characters. As I said, they're all terrible people for the most part. And I don't really think that there's a whole lot of development with it. And I think it's kind of surface level when it comes to the story at hand. Obviously, there's some twists and turns in it that make it pretty compelling. But overall, they really could have dived in with these characters. And I think that it would have made it all for the better. And I say dive in fuller. I don't mean make the movie longer, because it's over 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it feels a little long, I'm going to be honest. Maybe they could have rearranged what they focused on, but even so, it's my least favorite Robert Eggers film so far. But what is that saying? I mean, both The Witch and The Lighthouse are just great and destined to be indie horror classics. So this really is just such an impressive feat nonetheless. Really just absolutely brutal in the best way possible. See it on the biggest screen you can, because you're going to want to see these visuals unfold. I mean, they're really a sight to behold. And on that note, I'm going to give The Northman an 8 out of 10. As I said, probably not going to end up being one of my favorite movies of the year, but I get why everybody is loving this. Robert Eggers is back in prime form once again, and obviously I'm just really happy to see him do something different. He's one of those filmmakers that continues the challenge and continues to innovate, so I can't wait to see what he does next. So yeah, guys, what did you think of The Northman? Let me know in the comments below. I know quite a few have seen this one already, so I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. And as I said, that review for Everything Everywhere All at Once is coming very, very soon, probably within the next few days, as well as the next episode of Nathaniel A. Hart and Johnny Radio countdown for the top 60 albums of the 60s. You don't want to miss that, of course, guys. And if you like what you're seeing here, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going over 100 strong now, so I cannot wait to see what happens and what is in store for the future of this channel. So yeah, guys, until next time, I'll see you in the next video.